Zayn was a man who had everything the world could offer: money, power, and respect. He was one of the richest men in the city, owning many businesses and a large, beautiful house. But despite all his wealth, Zayn felt lonely. His life was empty in a way that money could never fill. Every day he went through his routine, meeting business people and attending parties. But inside, he felt a deep silence. One cloudy afternoon, Zayn decided to take a walk through the busy streets of the city. He liked to do this sometimes, away from the noise of his offices and the fake smiles of business meetings. He hoped the fresh air and the city's ordinary life would help him feel something real. As Zayn walked down a crowded street, his mind was full of worries about his next business deal. Suddenly he heard loud crying sounds coming from behind a small group of people. Curious, he looked ahead and saw two children running towards him. They were twins, a boy and a girl, both no older than 7 or 8 years old. Their clothes were torn and their faces were wet with tears. They looked scared and desperate. No one else seemed to notice the children. People passed by quickly, busy with their own lives, ignoring the twins' cries. But Zayn stopped. His heart tightened as he watched them run straight to him, calling his name, even though he had never seen them before. "Please help us," the boy cried, his voice shaking. The girl clung to her brother's hand, looking up at Zayn with eyes full of fear. Zayn felt a strange pull in his chest. He was used to controlling everything around him, but now, something about these children touched a part of him that he had long forgotten, a part that wanted to protect and care. He bent down to their level. "Where are your parents? Why are you crying?" he asked gently. The twins looked at each other, afraid to speak. After a moment, the girl whispered, We ran away. They want to take us back." Zayn's mind raced. Who wanted to take them back? And why were they running so scared? "Come with me," Zayn said softly, taking their small hands in his large ones. The twins didn't hesitate. They trusted him, even though he was a stranger. He led them to a nearby cafe, away from the busy street. As they sat down, Zayn bought them some warm milk and bread. The twins ate quietly, still shaking but feeling safer in his presence. Zayn wanted to know more, but the twins seemed unwilling to share their story. They only kept looking around nervously, as if expecting someone to appear and take them away. Zayn realized their fear was real. He decided he could not leave them alone, not when they needed help so badly. He called a close friend who worked in social services. "I found 2 children on the street," he said. "They are scared and alone. I need advice." His friend warned him, "Be careful, Zayn. Sometimes children run away for complicated reasons. It's not always safe to get involved." But Zayn had made his choice. He could not ignore the sadness and fear in those young eyes. That night, Zayn took the twins to his home. His grand mansion felt empty at first, but seeing the children sitting quietly in the living room, he felt a spark of hope. The twins explored the house slowly, their eyes wide with wonder. It was a world so different from the streets they ran through, a world of comfort and safety. For the first time, their cries slowed, replaced by curiosity. Zayn watched them and thought about his own life. He had chased success for years, but had never known the simple happiness that came from caring for someone else. As the night grew deeper, Zayn sat with the twins and promised, "You are safe here. No one will hurt you." The twins nodded, trusting him more and more. But deep inside, Zayn knew their story was far from over. Why were these children running scared? What danger were they trying to escape? He looked out the window at the dark city. Somewhere out there, answers waited, and Zayn was ready to find them. The next morning, sunlight poured through the tall windows of Zayn's mansion. The twins woke up slowly, still unsure if they were really safe. Their small faces held the marks of the long night they had spent crying on the streets. Zayn prepared breakfast in the kitchen, trying to make the atmosphere calm and warm. He knew the children were still scared, but he hoped a simple meal would help them feel better. When he called them to eat, the boy and girl sat quietly, barely touching the food. Zayn watched them carefully. He wanted to ask questions, to understand why they ran away, but the twins stayed silent. "Can you tell me your names?" Zayn asked gently. The boy looked at his sister before answering. "My name is Sami," he said softly. The girl nodded. "And I am Sarah." Zayn smiled. Sami and Sarah. Beautiful names. He wanted to learn more, but the twins avoided his eyes. It was clear they were hiding something, a secret too heavy for their young shoulders. Later, Zayn took them to a quiet room in the house, hoping they would feel safe enough to talk. But the twins sat close together, refusing to speak. Zayn felt frustrated but didn't want to pressure them. Instead, he decided to give them time. He spent the day watching them, trying to understand their fears. Sami and Sarah were careful not to leave each other's side. Their eyes always scanned the windows and doors, as if expecting someone dangerous to come. That evening, Zayn sat alone in his study, thinking deeply. Who were these children? Why had they run away? And most important, who were they running from? His phone rang. It was his old friend Adil, who worked with children in need. "I've got some news about those twins," Adil said quietly. "What?" Zayn asked quickly. They were reported missing from a wealthy family outside the city. There are rumors that their relatives want to take them back, but the children don't want to go. Zayn's heart raced. Why would they run away from their own family? I don't know, Zayn. But something is very wrong. Zayn thanked Adil and hung up. He realized the twins' silence was more than just fear. It was a shield to protect themselves from a painful truth. That night, Sami finally spoke in a whisper while sitting near the fireplace. "We are scared, Zayn," he said. "They want us back, but we don't want to go." Zayn nodded. "You don't have to go anywhere you don't want to. You are safe here." Sarah looked at Zayn with tears in her eyes. "They are powerful. They can find us anywhere." Zayn promised. Himself, he would protect them no matter what. But the mystery of their past remained. Why were these twins running from their own family? As the clock ticked, the night grew darker outside. Zayn knew the answers were hidden somewhere in the shadows, waiting to be discovered, and he was ready to face whatever truth came next. Days passed slowly in Zayn's mansion. The twins, Sami and Sarah, were beginning to feel a little safer, but the fear never completely left their eyes. Zayn tried to make their new home as warm and comfortable as possible, but he knew the past still haunted them. One afternoon, while the children were playing quietly in the garden, Zayn went to their small room to clean and organize. As he picked up some clothes scattered on the floor, something caught his eye. A small folded piece of paper tucked inside Sami's jacket pocket. Curious, Zayn carefully opened the note. The handwriting was small and hurried. "If you find this, please help us. We are in danger. Trust no one. They will come for us soon." Zayn's heart tightened. Who had written this? Was it Sami or Sarah? Or someone else trying to send a secret warning? He showed the note to Sami and Sarah when they came inside. Sami's face turned pale. Sarah looked down, silent and scared. "Who wrote this?" Zayn asked, softly. Sarah finally spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "We don't know, but we were told to hide it and never let anyone see." Zayn felt the weight of their fear. Someone was threatening these children. Someone dangerous enough to make them run away and hide. Determined to help, Zayn promised. "We will find out who is after you. No one will harm you here." But even as he said those words, a shadow of doubt crept in. Who could be so powerful to threaten the children of a wealthy family? And why? That night, Zayn kept the note with him. He studied it again and again, hoping for a clue. The next day, he decided to call an old friend, Adil, who worked in investigations. Maybe Adil could help find out who had written the message and who was behind the danger. When Adil arrived, Zayn showed him the note. "This is serious," Adil said after reading it. "This kind of warning means someone is really scared for their life." They talked late into the night, making plans to look deeper into the twins' past and protect them. Meanwhile, Sami and Sarah began to trust Zayn more. They slowly started to share small stories about their life before running away. They spoke of a large house, many people, and secrets whispered in the dark. But whenever Zayn asked about the danger, the twins grew silent again. One evening, Zayn sat by the fireplace with the twins. He gently asked, "Can you tell me what you're afraid of? Maybe together we can stop it." Sarah looked into his eyes and said, "There is someone who wants to take us back and keep us quiet forever." Zayn's heart pounded. "We will not let that happen. I promise you." As the fire flickered and the night grew quiet, Zayn felt a new determination. He would protect these children no matter what, even if it meant facing dangers he never imagined. But the mysterious message was only the beginning. Something bigger was waiting to be uncovered, and Zayn was ready to face it all. Zayn could no longer ignore the dark cloud hanging over Sammy and Sarah. The mysterious message and their silence told him there was a painful story buried deep in their past. He knew that to protect them, he had to learn everything, even if the truth was hard to hear. One morning, Zayn began searching through old records and newspapers. He wanted to find any information about the twins and their family. Hours turned into days as he pieced together a confusing and sad history. Zayn discovered that Sammy and Sarah came from a very wealthy family, much like his own world, but their family was not as perfect as it seemed. Rumors whispered about betrayal, greed, and secrets that no one dared to speak aloud. Their parents had disappeared mysteriously a few years ago, leaving the twins with relatives who were cold and cruel. Some said the relatives wanted to control the family fortune, no matter the cost. Zayn felt a chill as he read about threats made to the children. The story painted a picture of fear and danger, one that explained why Sammy and Sarah had run away. Later that day, Zayn sat with the twins in the living room. He showed them some of the news articles he had found. Sammy and Sarah listened quietly, their eyes filled with sadness. "Is this true?" Sammy asked softly. Zayn nodded. "I believe it is. You have been through more than any child should. But now, you are safe." Sarah looked at Zayn with a mixture of hope and fear. "But what if they come for us here?" Zayn promised firmly. "I will protect you. No one will hurt you while you are with me." But deep inside, Zayn knew the fight was far from over. The people who had hurt the twins were powerful, and they would not give up easily. That night, Zayn heard strange noises outside his mansion. Shadows moved near the gates, and a cold wind whispered through the trees. He called his security team and instructed them to be extra alert. Sammy and Sarah stayed close to Zayn, feeling the tension but trusting him to keep them safe. Days later, Zayn met with his lawyer and private investigators. They planned how to face the threat and uncover the truth behind the family's dark secrets. Zayn realized this was not just about protecting the twins. It was about fighting a long history of pain and betrayal. As the sun set one evening, Zayn stood by the window, watching the city lights glow. He thought about the twins and the new family they could have together. He whispered to himself, "No matter what shadows come from the past, we will face them together." And with that promise, Zayn prepared for the battle ahead. A battle to protect hope, love, and a future worth fighting for. After days of quiet, a strange feeling settled over Zayn's mansion. It was as if unseen eyes were watching every move. Sammy and Sarah stayed close to Zayn, their small hands tightly holding his. The twins' fear had not gone away. It had only grown stronger. One evening, as the sun began to set and the sky turned orange, Zayn's security system alerted him. Several unknown people were seen near the mansion's gates, moving carefully and trying to avoid the cameras. Zayn felt a cold shiver. The danger was real, and it was closing in fast. He called his security team immediately. "Double the patrols. Watch every entrance. No one gets in without my permission," he ordered firmly. The twins listened nervously as Zayn spoke on the phone. They could feel the tension in the house rising. That night, strange noises came from outside. The sound of footsteps, whispers, and the rustling of leaves. Sammy and Sarah stayed in Zayn's room, holding each other tightly. Zayn sat awake, alert, and ready for anything. The next day, Zane tried to keep calm, but he knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. The people who wanted the twins were powerful, and they would not stop until they got what they wanted. Later that afternoon, Sammy finally spoke. "They say bad things about us," he whispered. "They want to take us away and keep us quiet." Sarah nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "We don't want to go back, but they will find us." Zane hugged them close. "I won't let that happen. I promise I will protect you." But protecting the twins was not easy. Strange phone calls came, full of threats. Unknown cars appeared near the mansion. Someone was trying to scare them, and it was working. Zane met with his lawyer and private investigators again. They planned to find out who was behind the threats and how to stop them. One night, as Zane drove home, a black car followed him closely. He sensed danger and called the police. The car disappeared before the police arrived, but the message was clear. They were watching him too. Zane realized the enemy was not only after the twins, but also after him. The stakes were higher than he imagined. Despite the danger, Zane's determination grew stronger. He was ready to fight for Sammy and Sarah, no matter the cost. As the night deepened, Zane stood at the window, watching the dark street. He whispered to himself, "They think they can scare us, but we will stand strong." The twins, safe for now, slept peacefully beside him, but the battle was far from over, and soon the truth would bring a shock no one expected. The days grew heavier for Zane, Sammy, and Sarah. The quiet moments were fewer, replaced by a constant feeling of danger lurking just outside the walls of the mansion. Zane kept his promise to protect the twins, but the mystery behind their past remained locked away, until now. One evening, as the rain poured outside, Zane received an unexpected visitor. A woman, dressed simply but with serious eyes, stood at the door. She said her name was Hina and claimed to know the truth about Sammy and Sarah. Zane was cautious but invited her inside. Hina told a story that shocked them all. She explained that Sammy and Sarah's parents had disappeared because they had uncovered a terrible secret about their family. A secret that some powerful relatives wanted to hide at any cost. Those relatives wanted to take the twins back, not to care for them, but to silence them forever. Hina had been a close friend of the twins' mother and had promised to watch over them if anything happened. The twins listened, their eyes wide with fear and hope. "Zayn, say, why didn't you come sooner?" Hina's voice shook. "I was being watched. I had to wait for the right moment. This new information changed everything." Zane knew the danger was deeper than he thought. It wasn't just about money or power. It was about survival. That night, the twins shared small pieces of their memories. They spoke of secret meetings, whispered threats, and a hidden room in their old home where their parents kept important papers. Zane realized they needed to find that room. Maybe the answers were there. Proof that could stop the relatives from hurting the twins. With Hina's help, Zane made a plan to return to the old family house. They would search for the truth and bring light to the darkness that had chased the twins for so long. The night before the trip, Sammy and Sarah felt a mix of fear and hope. For the first time, they believed someone was fighting for them. Zane sat beside them and said, "No matter what we find, we face it together." The next morning, they left quietly, ready to face the past, and the secrets waiting to be uncovered. But danger still followed their steps, and the truth, when it came, would change their lives forever. The old house stood tall but worn, its walls filled with years of silence and secrets. Zayn, Sami, Sarah, and Hina entered carefully, the air heavy with memories. Every corner seemed to whisper stories of the past. Zane led the way to a small hidden door behind the bookshelf in the study room. Hina pushed it open slowly. Inside was a dusty room filled with old papers, photographs, and files. Sammy and Sarah stepped closer, their eyes searching for answers. Among the papers, they found a diary belonging to their mother. As Sarah opened it, tears filled her eyes. The diary revealed a painful story of love, betrayal, and a fight for justice. Their mother had discovered that some family members were stealing money and trying to take control of everything. When she tried to expose them, she and their father disappeared mysteriously. The twins realized their parents had been protecting them even after they were gone. The hidden room was their last attempt to keep the truth safe. Zane looked at the papers and said firmly, "This proof will stop those who want to hurt you. We will show the world what really happened." But even with the evidence, danger was not over. That night, masked men tried to break into the house. Zayn and Hina called the police just in time. The intruders fled, but the threat was clear. They wanted to silence the twins for good. Despite the fear, Sammy and Sarah felt stronger. With Zayn and Hina by their side, they knew they were not alone. In the days that followed, Zayn shared the story and evidence with the police and the media. The truth came out, exposing the corrupt family members. Sammy and Sarah finally felt free. The nightmares began to fade, replaced by hope. Zayn smiled as he watched the twins laugh and play in the garden. Their journey had been hard, but it was not over. Together they had found a new family, a new home, and a new beginning. And in that beginning there was promise, a promise that no matter what happened, they would always protect each other.